But much more to discuss, including this. Look, it's almost too easy. So maybe I don't even need to say it. But Monte Ellis, former very solid, very good NBA guard, has been hired as the GM at Alcorn State. Did you see in the process of all of this the comments that he made with regard to basically the history of the Warriors? Did you see this, Ephraim?
No, I did not.
Oh,
Please enlighten.
I want you to buckle up. Maybe it's too easy. Still need to get it off my chest.
Okay. Let it out. You're in a safe place.
One thing I don't love is when former
お
players
はようございます。ドライバーのボビちゃんです。毎日配信、タマ朝のご挨拶ライブの目で、ナンバー1713、第1713回目。
If you feel the way you feel, then to a degree, swallow it.
今日は8月の9日日曜日の朝のご挨拶です。おはようございます。ボビちゃんです。時刻の方は夕方7時3分ですね。夕方7時3分です。遅い昼ご飯、早くもないけど夕方、晩ご飯を、いただきました。タスティンというところにいます、ね。オレンジカウンティ、LA から、LA のダウンタウンから40分。北島、お寿司屋さんかな、寿司って書いてある。それからウロコカフェ。ウロコカフェは、ポキのお店ですよね。確かね。それからオクトーバーマーケットパン屋、北島さんは寿司&タイって書いてある。じゃあもう今はタイ人のオーナーさんなんですかね。はい、でここ隣が、田中屋さん、そば屋さん、ジャパニーズそばレストラン田中屋さん。こちら、はい、本日の晩餐をいただきました。むっちゃ美味しかった。ちょっとしょっぱいっちゃしょっぱいけど、そばですからね、醤油。おそば、卵とじのあんかけが乗ってるそば。あんかけそば。で、それとミニカツ丼。だからまあ醤油っぽいですよね、どっちもね。そこの、田中屋さんも、手打ちお店でそばを打ってらっしゃいます。手打ちそば。なんかそば粉の香りがプンプンっていう感じでもないですけど、やっぱりそば粉の香りがプンプンっていうと、やっぱ引き立てのそば粉なんですかね。そば粉の香りをプンプン嗅いだっていうイメージは最近あんまりないですね。もう一軒こっちのオレンジカウンティに南さんっていうお店ありますけど、蕎麦屋さんね、そこも売ってらっしゃいますけど、むっちゃそば粉の香りがプンプンするって感じはなんかあんまりしないですね。風味がないわけじゃないですよ、全然美味しいんですけど。美味しいんですけどね。手打ちそば。
That is absolutely the craziest thing I've ever heard a former player say
なかなかね
about
こっちの方で、ここ今来たお店もね、もう本当超久しぶり。
Okay, so I'll play. You gonna do
なかなか来れてないというか、タイミングが合わないというか、どうしてもお昼休憩もありますから、お店の方でね、だからこっちの方にお客さんを送ってくるっていうのもまあね、そんなこっちの方まで来るってことはあんまりないというか、ディズニーランド近辺まではねしょっちゅう来るんですけど、ディズニーランドよりもちょっと下の方なんですよね、ここはね。まあ来れないわけではないんですけど、ただお昼過ぎのね、まだ夕方の営業が開くまでの時間っていうのはお昼休憩があって、その時間帯は来れないっていうね、こっちにいても、まあ、食べに行けないっていうね、まあそういうタイミングですよね。もう一軒のお店の方もそうですけど、今ね、行きたいなって思っても、今の時間じゃな、空いてないなっていうところで、なかなかね、ぴったりとタイミングが合わなかったら来れないってしてたら、もう何ヶ月かに1回、年に2回ぐらい来れるかなぐらいですけどね、もっと本当はしょきたいんですけどね、近かったら。お蕎麦屋さんの嬉しいのは、ね、そのミニカツ丼とお蕎麦のセットとか、そういうのが食べれるのがいいですよね。
You got Iguodala, you got Draymond Green, you got Klay Thompson, you got who else?
Well, depends on which
Livingston.
which version.
The early version.
Is a very dull speaker, but in a more subtle way, and he's not flashy. And that just
西日に向かって走る感じですね。これね、今 LA の方へね、うちの方へ帰ってる最中ですけど。
Now, also the public works department said they will be operational in the week of October, but only warning conditions. They'll start sending out notices in the first week of December. But the city approved the program last December. Mayor Rex Richardson said it's all about reducing traffic.
Traffic safety, incidents of vehicle fatalities, incidents, increase. They went up immediately past the pandemic, then went down last year, and then this year it's way up.
あんまりないですよね。どこでもやってるって感じはしない気がするんですけどね。そのミニカツ丼と種類はね、なんか選べるんですよ。その卵とじのあんかけ、たぬきそば、もう一つはなんかきつねだったかな。それか冷たいざるそば。でね、選べるんですけど、いつもなんかたぬきとどっちにしようかなとか、きつねとどっちにしようかなと思っていつもあんかけになるって感じなんですけど、あんがドロッとかかってるのが美味しいですよね。ラーメンでもね、五目そばみたいなね、野菜とか肉とか炒めてあるやつにあんがちょっとかかってて、ドンとラーメンの上にね、あんかけの炒め物が乗ってるっていうのは美味しいですね。というところでね、オレンジカウンティー、こっちのね LA の下の方、南の方ね、オレンジカウンティーには2軒手打ちの蕎麦屋さんがありますね。LA にもね、手打ちの店3軒ぐらいあるんですよ。そこの方にも行くんですけどね、たまには。あとは手打ちじゃないんだけど、天ぷら、天丼屋さん、天丼が美味しいお店、そこのおす そばと天丼のミニ天丼のコンビネーションっていうね、そういうのがあるお店もあるんですけどね、その組み合わせも美味しいですね。卵の天ぷらがついてくるっていうんですけどね、ドロッとね、ドロッと美味しいです。
may be covered by many PPO insurance plans. Stop waiting and start investing in your health today. Call 1-800-WEST Medical for your free, no obligation call. Coronavirus is threatening the most poorest communities. Please send an urgent care package to ensure hygiene supplies, hand washing stations, and drinkable water gets to people most in need. Visit carepackage.org to send a care package today. We ask parents to adopt a team to share their journey.
Nathan to embrace Asian guys. I mean, I'm just sending them like 60. I rolled up to his grandfather. Would he embarrassed to acknowledge me as a dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he got me the person I am today. And coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad, and I feel very proud to be his dad.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. Realizing what simple things it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council. All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year. It's April. Price as low as 25 cents, up to 30% off select packs, 20% off the teachers and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy. Snakes, zombies, public speaking, the list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hands when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary. Even better. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Getting together to raise money for the kids.
Maybe your extra $50 go securing 87% of children with leukemia. Register for Extra Life at extra-life.org. Are you the parent of a blind child? The National Federation of the Blind knows blindness does not have to hold your child back. With support, education, and mentoring, your child can turn her dreams into reality. We know because we are parents who have made it happen. Visit us at nfb.org/parents to learn how we can help you and your family. National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
みんなむちゃくちゃ走ってるね。
I'm Bob Rose for David News. Another weekend, more records for Spider-Man, brand new day. One of two stories from right now. Check traffic 2 hours and 7:50. It's a bit of a chore coming back into the valley from Santa Clarita, specifically Newhall right now, the southbound side of the 5, and this is because of a traffic break being run. There's an SUV that's stuck in the center divider, and so things are just trying to get over to the right shoulder there. So that's why you're backed up a little bit. They have to have some lanes open because the slowing is starting to thin out. You're slow from Lyons Avenue, so that's you've picked up an off-ramp there from McBean Parkway. And still seeing some slowing in Pacoima. This is on the southbound side of the 405 at Roscoe, where a pickup truck, the trailer got loose from a pickup truck, and that's over the right lane, so that's why there's a little bit of slowing there. People want to see what the heck is going on there. They wanted to go over to Downey. This is on the 5 north of Lakewood Boulevard. There's a van that's partially blocking the center divider, and there is also a crash working there as well. This is that van is on its way over on the right shoulder, but then there's a 2-vehicle crash that's over on the right shoulder there as well, and there might be some police activity. It is affecting the northbound 605 connector to the northbound side of the 5. Then we're going to go to seeing some slowing in Artesia Cerritos. Don't know what's going on there. This is just happening right now and in real time on the 91 West connector to the 605.
Yeah,
there is something going on between Pioneer Boulevard and the 605. And then let's see. Let's go to the Norwalk area, the northwest side of the 5 at Rosecrans. Still reporting a tire in lanes there. Yeah, I'm still seeing a little bit of slowing there, so it still could be there. SoCal's only reliable traffic reports every 10 minutes to the 5.
目が開けられないほどってわけじゃないですけどね。サンバイザー、サンバイザー、これのサンバイザー、普通のサンバイザーじゃなくて、色がついてるね、板のサンバイザーなんですけどね。紫外線をカットするサンバイザーなんですけど、普通のサンバイザーだと完全に視界を遮っちゃうから、こうやって真正面から当たってる時とかね、もう相当サンバイザー縦にするから視界が半分ぐらいしかなくなる。アクリルのサンバイザー使うと、まあ景色っていうか、それをね、まあ見えるっていう、こんな感じ、こんな感じです。あるとないじゃだいぶ違いますけどね、これとこれじゃあね。ちょうど説明してたら高架橋の下通ってるし、説明になってない。戻したらまた西日があるし。このぐらいとこのぐらい。だいぶ違いますよね、これね。これとこれ。違います。フロントガラスにもフールも貼ってあるんですけどね、70% ぐらいの70じゃないか、80にしたのかな。スモークは貼ってあるんですけど、それプラスサンバイザー。
on a $50 meal. It's just higher bills, higher cost of living, higher tab.
That's why experts take all these themselves to be at the ideal, so they rate pay in California.
With many other states, you have the potential to have a sub-minimum wage for either hospitality worker, wait staff, things like that. And so there might be more of an impulse to give that person more, knowing that they make less. Here in California, that minimum wage still applies to wait staff as well, and so there's less of that social pressure.
Survey finds generous tippers for Delaware and Virginia. 2 dozen former Orange County hotel workers are getting a $2.75 million settlement.
Big settlement will be split between 29 workers, former workers of the Anaheim area. They were let go after COVID, and they were not recalled back. United here, local 11 executive director spoke up as they united. Labor commissioner investigated their claims and hospitality business. But first, they offered their jobs back based on seniority before new applicants could be hired. I'm Emily Valdez, KNX News.
電話の電池が 20% なんですけど、家まで持たないな。
Argues that young entrepreneurs with little to no experience may be best suited for success in the business world.
For example, everybody's running. Everybody wants to win. You don't realize it when you're young. And everybody wants to be around. They love their around.
In his new book, No Experience Necessary, he says when he was 26 years old, he created the air hog flying toy, but found out during production that Hasbro and Mattel passed.
I thought about the issues for a while, and we were just like, we could figure it out. And I think if we were older, we would have actually done it.
But that youthful idealism was what pushed him forward.
$7 million $35 million. And we did hundreds of millions of dollars.
もうしょうがないな。
From air
ガソリンがむっちゃ安いとこあった
30 years
の。
later, Ferrari spin master 28 offices around the globe, more than 3,000 employees, and billions of dollars in annual revenue. I'm Amy Morris from the California Deluxe Windows Money Desk on KNX News.
Every Tuesday, keep in mind, at the grill and get our stomachs ready for Taco Tuesday. What we bring highlights of that taco in Southern California.
One-of-a-kind tacos and how they're made. You go down to their mom's house in Tijuana. She makes like 2 of
いよいよドジャースが
This right here
ホームに帰ってきますね。
Tijuana-style taco.
And what makes them unique?
10 out of 10 on the
Every Taco Tuesday.
ホームで、何連戦だっ
Yamaha Resort and Casino at San Manuel is bringing the biggest blast to the stage.
け ?7 連戦。月曜から日曜日までホームで 7連戦。
Dry humor on September 18th and 19th. And don't miss Nikki Glazer's unapologetic comedy November 19th. Tickets on sale now at YamahaTheater.com. Only in Yamaha Resort and Casino, celebrating its 40th anniversary. You win, must be 21 to enter.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in home homes. And I never had much stuff because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go? There are more than
続々と、日本から毎日日本からのお客さんを LX の空港へ迎えに行ってますけど、明日も明後日も幸せだっていうの毎日いらっしゃいます
Now I
ね。
have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing
お
and
盆
make
ですから
videos.
ね、今週ね、
But
本
the
当ちょ
best
うど
part,
ドジャースの
knowing
試合
I'll
と
always
重
have
な
a
った
place
か
to
ら、
go and a family
お
that
盆
loves
休み楽しみ
and
ですよ
supports
ね。
me. You have
ゴールデンウィークは前半の4月の末までは良かったんですけどね、5月の頭ゴールデンウィークはドジャースアウェーだったんでちょっと寂しかったですけどね。
They need our support to keep miracles happening. Put your money where the miracles are.
ゴー
Support
ルデ
your
ンウィー
children's
クと
miracle
お盆休みはお願いしますって感じです。
USC and Notre Dame are going to resume their historic football rivalry, but not for another 4 years. John Barrett talked to some of the players at Media Day.
で次はやっぱりね9月のシルバーウィークっていうんですか、あそこですよね。
each other for 4 more years until 2030. That's when the rivalry will resume, and they won't be playing late in the season. It will be the first game of the season. Walter Matthews is a tight end on the team.
No matter who's in front of us, we're just ready to compete with anybody.
あとは台風ね、昨日も話しましたけど、台風15号の進路がちょっと心配ですけどね。
Wide receiver.
Just going game by game with it, staying home with every single day, the second day.
How do you think the team is looking this year? Or do you know yet?
重ならないでほしいです。
Look, legendary. I'm just waiting for it to like all unfold.
The Trojans finished 9-4 last year at USC. I'm John Barrett, KNX News.
Notre Dame and USC played each other 73 straight seasons since 1946 to 2019, before COVID interrupted them. And it's looking more and more like former superstar Aaron Donald will return to the Rams. Sports Illustrated says his team is now planning stages for 35-year-old Aaron Donald to defensive tackle, of course, to rejoin the team. They're working out logistics and rough timelines for him to return. We'll have to wait and see. Be a big help to the Rams. Possibly. 7:25 at KNX News. Nothing too happening on our freeways. Probably. Possibly. There's no sellers.
No, it's a good bet, that's for sure. And want to thank Penny from Rancho Cucamonga for checking in on the KNX traffic tip line 844 KNX News. And she wanted to tell us what's going on near Irwindale on the 605 North connector to the 210 East. And this is an entry crash working there. And seeing a little bit of slowing on the 210 West connector to the 605. This is the locator is on the 605 North connector to the 210. So thanks, Penny, for checking in on that. And we're going to go just down the freeway on the southbound side of the 605, where we have our Caltrans operation going on until 11 p.m. tonight. This is on the 605 South, where the 3 right lanes are shut down between Neck Road and Rose Hills Road until 11 p.m. for the concrete rehabilitation project. And still working on this crash just over in San Gabriel on the westbound side of the 60th San Gabriel Boulevard. Everything's over on the right shoulder. They may be waiting on a tow truck to get that out of there. Then in Cerritos, Artesia Bellflower. This is on the westbound side of the 91 connector to the north 605 CHP running a traffic break. This is at least a two-vehicle crash, and that's now getting over to the right shoulder, so that's the good news in all of that. Then wanted to go back to the Newhall area. We were still seeing some slowing on the southbound side of the 5 at Calgrove Boulevard, where a traffic break is still being run. This is for disabled vehicle that has been moved from the center divider over to the right shoulder. SoCal's only reliable traffic reports every 10 minutes on the 5 from the KNXU 24-hour traffic center.
Margaret Carrero here, and I've got a question for you. Have you been dealing with foot pain that's keeping you from doing the things you love? If you answered yes to that, don't let the summer slip away from you without visiting the Good Feet store. They offer a personalized fit for arch supports that are made right here in the USA, and they fit in your own shoes, even your sandals, so be sure to bring those along with you. And here's the best part. You can try before you buy. Take those Good Feet arch supports in your shoes for a spin around the store and see how they feel. I did the same thing when I went to the store in Pasadena, and nowadays I am doing more of the things I love, whether it's dancing the night away at a concert outdoors or karaoke, taking long walks. I'm even getting back in the gym more. And I gotta tell you, the more I move, the better I feel. You can find a location near you at goodfeet.com. Wherever summer takes you, step there in comfort with the Good Feet store. This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. This woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces. Just by giving her a fair hug, she masqueraded as a regular person at work. But as a superhero at home, everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guide you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Did you know that more lives are lost to lung cancer each year than to breast, colorectal, and prostate cancers combined? Up to 65% of those newly diagnosed with lung cancer have never smoked or are former smokers. Lung cancer will claim more than 142,000 lives this year, but new treatments have improved survival for many with the disease and offer new hope for many more. So does lung cancer screening. The American Cancer Society and American Lung Association recommend that current and former heavy smokers, ages 55 to 80, get a yearly CT scan of the lungs. Private insurance and Medicare cover these exams for those who qualify. So ask your doctor if lung cancer screening is right for you. And if you smoke, ask your doctor to help you quit. Visit the National Lung Cancer Roundtable website at nlcrt.org. This message brought to you by the National Lung Cancer Roundtable.
From the DCLA Live Group History Health Studio, this is Southern California's news. KNX.
At 7:30, good evening, I'm Bob Grill. This is going to be a big week for LA school kids and their parents. Classes resuming Wednesday. They'll be facing an interesting and challenging year ahead. And the school district has been touting recent gains in academic scores and has been holding a lot of outreach events before the new semester starts. Including their visits to some students' homes as part of an effort to encourage high attendance. The district says its main priorities are the safety and well-being of its students, strong academic results, and getting kids ready for college. In addition, they're pushing sports and personal needs of students, including their mental health. And it's also stressing that it doesn't cooperate with immigration enforcement operations, which are a big concern these days for the families of many of those students. UC System is offering a record number of seats to California students this year.
The in-state acceptance rate sits at 78% and reflects the first full admissions cycle since federal investigators began examining the UC's use of race in admissions. The Justice Department opened inquiries into the Berkeley, Irvine, and LA campuses in March of last year. Eddie Cole is a professor of education at UCLA. When you think about the outsized amount of weight that the community college system and the county system
And in terms of educating Californians, it is noteworthy that the UC has also, rightly understandably, opened its doors to California in a new way for what we've seen in the past.
来週から始まるってこと
has admitted just over 102,000 California first-year students for the fall.
今週から始まるっていうのも結構あるのかな
UCLA each admitting about 1 in 10 applicants. UC Davis taking on nearly half of those who applied, while Merced admitted nearly everyone who met their academic requirements.
Metro officials say fewer homeless people are on.
だんだん秋に近づいていってますよね。
Even though the
立秋
latest
も過
count
ぎた
shows
し
there are more homeless people in LA now, Metro says the data show a 57% drop in the number of homeless using their transit system since 2024. And Metro says violent crime in the system dropped 22% over 2 years. But passengers on the G line tell me they think the number of homeless on trains and buses has actually gone up.
I think the number's slowly increasing. I think it's going higher and higher.
Oh, you think there's more homeless
太陽
people?
の光が
LA County
太陽から
Supervisor
筋が出てる
Dennis
の
Hahn
見
is
え
the
ますか
Metro
ね
board member who feels they've made
雲の上
progress
に
on keeping
出
the
てる太陽
homeless
の
off
光
the system.
筋になってるんですよねちゃんとね綺麗ですよね
On our system to housing opportunities. Shelter opportunities and
旭日区みたいにね
She also says she's not a big fan of the idea of making the transit system free because that can lure more homeless people back to the metro lines, but she is still open to hearing about it. In Van Nuys, I'm John Baird, KNX News.
There's disturbing news when it comes to wildfires. Turns out California homes are less likely to survive than they used to be.
In 2000, wildfires destroyed only 3% of the California homes they touched. By 2020, that number rose to 18%. UC Merced's postdoctoral scientist Mukesh Kumar led the study.
The buildings that are older, especially those are built before 1990, they didn't follow the modern building codes, and that's why they are more vulnerable to fires. And that's why we are seeing that those buildings that are older are having lower survivability.
He says fires are more ferocious these days because of climate change. Think the 100-mile-an-hour winds during the Palisades fire. That said, Kumar tells us this does not mean efforts to harden homes aren't working.
I would not say it's not effective. It is one of the measures to reduce the risk, and the homeowners should not be worried about the fact that home hardening is becoming less effective. It is effective, but we have to think about the other factors.
Part of this is that Californians are taking on more risk. The study found of new properties built in the first few years of this decade, 80% were in high fire risk areas. I'm Brian Kang, KNX.
おいおいおいおいそんなことしてんだ
The number of people in California who are underwater on their
車
home
線が一つになるっていうところでも
have a mortgage that is larger than the home value, and that is the best rate in the nation. Nationwide, it's 1.7%, so almost 2%. So California is roughly half of the national rate. If you want to say how bad was it during the Great Recession, it was almost 1/3 of California were underwater at the peak.
That's Jonathan Lanzer, business columnist for the Orange County Register, who tells us this is a kind of glass half full, glass half empty situation.
Lenders were quite stingy, and that may also be why a lot of people are frustrated to want to be homeowners. The banks aren't as generous, the prices have stayed high, and there aren't a lot of motivated sellers. The tale of two cities. Good for the
明日
owners,
の
good
朝
for the
に
lenders,
買っ
not
た
so
り
good
のした
for
のが
them.
早いですよ
The
ね
places with the most underwater mortgages, Louisiana and Iowa. 7:35, time to see what's happening on our freeways once again. Here's Luke.
All right, Bob, I want to thank Penny for calling in again. This is, she's from Rancho Cucamonga, but driving through Irwindale, coming up the northbound side of the 605, connecting with the eastbound 10. And that's where this vehicle went over the left shoulder and down the embankment. And there are emergency crews on the scene. They're waiting on a tow truck now. So don't see any slowing. There is usually some slowing anyway on the northbound 605 connector to the east 210. But not right now, but once the tow truck gets on scene, I'm sure there will be. So we'll let you know about that. Then as long as we're on the 605, we're going to go south on the southbound 605 to right around the 60, where Caltrans is working on that pavement rehab project. This is 3 right lanes are shut down between Peck Road to Rose Hills Road until 11 p.m. tonight. And then in the Sepulveda Pass, we do have our other Caltrans project.
失礼しましょう。
This is
はい というところで、
in North on the
やばい
southbound side of the 405.
電話の電
The
池が
left lane is closed
10% だって
for
言ってますけ
Burbank
ど
Boulevard to Ventura Boulevard, then it expands
今日も
to the
無事
three left lanes
到着ですね。
from Ventura Boulevard
帰っ
to
てきました。
Mulholland. And then the connectors on the 101 north and south to the South 405 are closed until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, so that's why it's sluggish in all four, well, there's 3 out of the 4 directions except for the northbound side of the 405, which is a nice drive all the way up into Stillmore. SoCal's only reliable traffic reports every 10 minutes on the 5s from the KNX News.
はい、というところで、はい、今日はおそば、美味しいおそば食べたっていう配信でした。というところで、はい、朝のご挨拶、公園でいきますね。毎日配信、タバスのご挨拶ラブの命令、ナンバー1713、第1713回目。今日は8月の9日、日曜日の朝のご挨拶でした。どうもどうもご視聴ありがとうございました。それではまた明日戻ってきます。ボブちゃんです。どうも。